everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sam and I'm an instructional designer and I work in tech. For the past few years, like many of you, I've been working fully remote from my house, and I've found that it can be really hard to set boundaries between work and life, even after a few years of doing this. So in this video, I'm going to share a few of my tried and true tips that I use to set better boundaries between my work and life while working remote. Tip number one is to set your working hours on your calendar. What I mean by setting working hours is you can actually go into your settings and you can set the hours that people can schedule meetings with you. So if you work 8:30 to 4:30, or if you're more of a later start person who likes, 10 to 5, you can go in and set these hours. This works for both Slack users who use Google Calendar and for Teams users who use the Teams calendar. This makes it a lot harder for people to actually schedule meetings with you. And if they do decide that they want to schedule meetings with you, they have to confirm that they've set a meeting with you outside of your working hours. This can definitely help to deflect a lot of really early or really late meetings. Now, it's not 100% successful because obviously there's some times when you need to have early or late meetings, but this will help deflect a few of them. The second tip is to create a recurring lunch block or break block in your calendar. This is one of the first things I do when I start a new job. I'll create a lunch block. If you're not comfortable doing a full hour, maybe start with a 30-minute block and set it to occur every day or even every other day so that you at least have 30 minutes to an hour set on your calendar to take a break. If your schedule is super packed for the next week, I'd suggest clicking forward a few weeks and then see where your calendar starts to get a little bit empty because you don't have meetings scheduled that far out yet, and then create those lunch blocks. I use my lunch blocks to eat lunch or go out and take a walk. Just get away from the computer. I think that's super important. My next tip, and this one's really important, is to silence the sound notification of Slack or Teams on your laptop. If you're trying to take a little bit of a break in the middle of the day or in the morning or in the evening and you hear that sound, you know that sound I'm talking about, the one that notifies you of a notification from someone on your team sending you a message, I would highly suggest just turning it off completely. If you're sitting at your desk, you will be able to see a little icon that pops up at the bottom signifying that you have a notification. You don't need the additional sound notification on top of that. This might not work for everyone, but I do suggest that if you have the option or the ability to turn off these sound notifications, definitely try it out. Another tip I'd suggest is doing an audit of any channels or threads that you've been added to. I know that throughout the year, you've probably been added to different channels and threads just for like one-off messages, but if you take time, maybe 5 minutes to go through all the threads or channels that you are in on like Slack or Teams, go ahead and mute the ones that you don't actually need to be an active participant in, and it'll really help to cut down on the amount of distractions that you get towards the end of the day when you're trying to clear out all of the unread threads or channels. Some tips that I would suggest for your phone specifically, because I know some people have, Slack or Teams or their work emails set up on their phone, is to disconnect your work email from your phone. These days, emails are generally acceptable, or it's acceptable to not respond to them immediately. If someone wants an immediate response, generally they'll send a direct message via some sort of messaging app. Now, there are obviously cases where you may need to have your email on your phone, but I'm going to challenge you to disconnect your email from your phone for 1 week. Your work email is not on your phone, just for 1 week to see how it feels and see if you actually don't need it on your phone to begin with. Also on your phone, I would highly suggest turning off push notifications for Slack or Teams or whatever messaging apps that you use for work. If you need to have Slack on your phone, I have Slack on my phone just in case of emergencies, but I do not have push notifications on so that I can check it when I'm ready and when I have time to check it, and I'm not constantly checking it because people always need me. One kind of workaround around this is if you do have an older phone lying around, you could actually turn that into your work phone. You can set up your work email, your Okta, or whatever you use to authenticate. You can set up your work Slack on your old phone that just works via Wi-Fi, and use that during the day if you really need it, and then put it away at the end of the day. Alrighty, and those are some of the tips that I personally use to make sure that I set better work boundaries, and so that once work is done, it's done, and I'm not always kind of plugged in to work. It's really actually helped me be more productive because I can turn off my brain, fully recharge, reset, and then get back to work the next day. If you have any other tips that you use to set better work boundaries, please comment them down below. If you found one that you thought was helpful from this, please also let me know which one you like the best and which one you want to use in your daily life. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.